think they offer him a very lucrative deal. And Nick is here. Hey, Nick.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Welcome.
So did you like the new episode of The Mandalorian?
It was one of the better episodes of the season, but it was also one of the more frustrating episodes of the season. So I kind of have like a love-hate for the episode. Like I gave it like a 6 out of 10.
Okay, I gave it an 8 out of 10.
It was better than the
Lizzo
episode, and it was better than the Dr. Pershing episode.
Yeah.
But the pirate one is still.
I gotta head out.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Bruce.
All right,
Thank
Bruce.
you.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Yeah.
But the pirate episode's still my favorite of the season so far.
The pirate one, okay.
And I still had issues with that.
So, if anyone wants a spoiler warning for the last episode, I guess since Nick's here, we can get what he heard.
Yeah,
spoiler warning for the final episode of Mandalorian, just to make sure we're covered. Because I think me and Voltaire are interested. Are you, Teladius, and your nerd?
I'm interested.
Okay, go ahead, man.
I can tell you what I heard, and just to be clear, it could be total BS, and I find it hard to believe. But
yeah, Nick, sorry. So you heard Filoni's comments where he said everybody's going to be really happy at the end of this season of The Mandalorian, right?
Yeah. I heard those comments, but I don't know what he's referring to because I only heard two things about the episode, which is Djarin sacrifices himself and dies, and Emperor Palpatine comes back. Are the two things I heard?
Somehow Palpatine returns, huh?
That it does seem like something they would do. It does, honestly. So I'm like, yeah, this is a rumor, but I could totally see them doing this.
Yeah, I could totally see him. The one I find the Palpatine returning one to be more believable. The Din dying one is the one I find harder to believe. But after watching this season and seeing it geared more towards Bo-Katan, I guess I could see that being a possibility. But that's just what I've heard. Again, I don't know if it's true. It could be complete BS. But everything
there are
this
people
week's
out there
episode
that's
was true.
There are people out there that have screeners that have seen in advance.
Yeah.
In access, in access media. So we'll have to see the context too if it plays well. I do feel a backlash for sure coming if that happens, though.
Yeah, I mean, at this point for me, I mean, especially after a Star Wars Celebration, I'm just gonna kick back, have fun with Star Wars, and just enjoy watching Disney burn it all to the ground.
Oh boy,
I still like it. I love Bo-Katan.
Well, that's the thing.
But you can't dismiss people that really like Djarin as their favorite. You can't dismiss that.
Yeah, I mean, I like Din and I like Bo-Katan, and I always thought that she should have been the one to have the Darksaber. But I also found the way she got it to be very anticlimactic.
That's
like
what
I think the writing of this, especially this season, is amateurish.
Well, you kind of want to see an epic sequence to have her regain the status instead of explaining it away with a dialogue. Well, back when you saved my life, I kind of lost it, and then you beat the thing, so you kind of deserve it. That was very anticlimactic to me too. It made sense, but it's like, really? Then why didn't you just give it to her then?
Yeah, right. Or why didn't she just keep it and say, "Hey, I rescued you. I defeated the enemy that you were captured by. The Darksaber belongs to me," and just had him be like, okay.
Now, let's take one thing at a time while you're here, Nick. So the Djarin thing, I could see a lot of backlash. The Palpatine thing, I mean, they can only make his arc better as his return in the Rise of Skywalker. So
there's no making that better.
There's
no making that better.
In your opinion,
in my mind,
for some people, it might.
in my mind, there is no. It's sort of like the Kenobi show. Like there's nothing like I don't know how many of you guys saw the fan edit of the Kenobi show.
I did. I like it. Yeah.
No.
It was a better version of what we got for sure, but it was just basically a shiny turd. You know,
I disagree. I loved it.
Shine that turd and made it shine.
I think there was enough there for an amazing show. It just need better editing and a more cohesive. It just needed edit. You know, like the original Star Wars was saved in editing with Marshall Lucas.
Yeah, I don't.
I think there was an amazing product there that need better editing in a tighter product, and it was there.
I don't think any amount of editing of that show would have fixed it because there's several aspects of it are canon breaking.
Okay.
Obi-Wan Kenobi never had anything to do with Leia ever.
Well, if you're going to bring Obi-Wan back, you got to justify.
I mean, you can do the mental gymnastics and be like, well, you know, but that's a lot of mental gymnastics to make that puzzle piece fit into the OT.
Okay, I understand.
No, they had to break canon to do an Obi-Wan movie because without breaking canon, it would have been a little bit boring, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Well, I thought there would be an interesting story there, and even Ewan McGregor's come out and said publicly the story was supposed to be about me and Luke. Because when you watch the OT, you know, Luke says, you know, I wonder if he's talking about old Ben. You know, well, old Ben lives out beyond the dune seas. You know, kind of crazy old hermit, you know, or whatever. And there's an interesting story to be told there. And if you wanted to bring Vader back, is a secondary storyline that runs parallel to Kenobi's storyline, where he's hunting down Jedi and he comes across Jedi, and the Inquisitors are out there hunting. But the main one he's looking for is he's wanting to find out what happened to Kenobi, and he spends the whole entire show looking for him, but never finds him. You know, but there comes a moment where the Inquisitors or whatever are wind up on Tatooine for some reason or another, a tip off or whatever, and they find out Kenobi's there. And they're racing back to get to their ships or something to go inform Vader. And he's trying to stop them from informing Vader and ends up killing them before they can actually inform Vader that Kenobi's there or something. You know, and ultimately they never meet. They never see each other. Then when you see that scene where Vader's on the Death Star and he's like, I sensed something, a presence I've not felt since. And then they finally meet. You know, and then Vader finally, after all this time of hunting for Kenobi, here he is standing right in front of him. How much more impactful would that scene have been with that story? You know, when you go back and tell a previous story, a prequel story that happens before an already existing story, that previous story should just add to the experience of the existing one, not make you question or be like, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't add up. You know, and I felt that Kenobi completely failed on that aspect of it. But again, that's just one man's opinion.
That's fair. That's fine. I'm not saying I have issues with it too, but overall I enjoyed it. I do understand that they had to stretch things to make us have a story to tell to begin with. Like it was already the prequels to the OG trilogy was already a perfect arc for me. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it though. But this here makes me this image. I know people will say, Max, you're reading too much into it. This feels like they are setting you up as a viewer to say Grogu's going to be okay.
Yep.
I mean, she is controlling the ship. This really feels to me like they're setting you up to say this is going to be the way it is. I really feel that from this image.
They are slowly introducing scenes and stuff in this season. If you go back and rewatch the episodes with her in it, they're slowly setting you up to be okay with her basically being the new guardian of Grogu.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that the Din Djarin death thing could totally be true. Again, I find it the least likely out of the two things between that and the Palps returning. But yeah, I don't know.
So 2 comments on your rumors. The Palpatine one makes sense because clearly, if you watch all the shows, you watch Bad Batch and all this, they're trying to fill the gaps in for the prequels, for the sequels, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I could totally see he's a brain in a vat or whatever he is. You know what I mean? And they're still figuring out how to get him into a body or whatever they do.
Yeah, he is Project Necromancer that they talked about in this episode.
Correct. Now, I've said I wouldn't be surprised if they're done with Pedro. So if he dies, he dies. It's just that Filoni's saying everybody's going to be happy.
That's like what?
Yeah, right.
I mean, what else can Filoni really say though?
True.
I mean, he was asked a question like, man, it's going to be divisive. A lot of fans probably aren't going to like it. You know, no, because
he said there's going to be an impactful ending. There's going to be an emotional. Well, you know, he could have said a lot of things, but and Luke Skywalker is going to show up.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's the thing. Maybe Palps comes back. Maybe Din dies, but then maybe something else happens, like Luke comes back to help him, or Boba Fett comes and help him, or the New Republic comes and we see Han, Chewie, and Leia in deep fake. You know, who knows?
Boba Fett's very possible. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, they could do other stuff that that could have a lot of fans get hyped over. You know, to maybe kind of lighten the harsh reality that Din's dead and that these are tying into the sequels. So I don't know. Well, one episode left. We don't got that much longer next week, and then we got Ahsoka.
I'm looking forward to even if he's done, because honestly, there hasn't been much for him to do the way it's been going. I think there could be. I think there could be more for him to do, but
it's barely his show this season.
Yeah,
like it's an ensemble cast show. It's not, you know, his. He's not the star of it anymore.
Like after today's episode, while I was watching, I was just waiting for him the whole time to be like, "Yes, my queen, my queen, my queen." You know, he's totally the Jon Snow character. Once Jon Snow was with Daenerys in Game of Thrones, so except Daenerys died, and I think Din may die next week.
John killed her, actually.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Nick. It doesn't make me less excited to see the finale.
I'm looking forward to seeing it wrap up. I don't know. A lot of the stuff they're doing, my love for Star Wars is really waning with some of the stuff Disney's doing. You know, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to find something to be excited about. But
Voltaire came up with a great comment earlier, Nick, that you might want to make a video on.
What was that?
Jon Favreau killed his character off. Is he done with Mandalorian?
So they both are in peril this episode.
That's actually, I'm glad you guys mentioned that, because that's actually something else I heard, that that Favreau actually might be done after this season. He already wrote season 4, and rumor has it he'll either be back for season 4 and that will be his last one, or he's going to hand all that off to Filoni, and Filoni's gonna use that or use parts of it for season 4, but they've already given Filoni the Mando culmination movie, and Favreau's name is not attached to it. It's Filoni.
So he's written season 4, but they didn't announce season 4 at Celebration, right?
Nope.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yep, he wrote season 4 while they were filming season 3. So season 4 is already written. And
so
done.
He wrote it. Okay.
Yeah,
he chose to kill off his own character, right? That's not nothing to me.
No. So there might be a bigger meaning behind that, you know.
Okay. Well, either way, I'm gonna try. I'm going to enjoy Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Ahsoka. Ahsoka is the one that is like blows my mind. That trailer was a 10 out of 10. I know, Nick, you disagree. I love that trailer.
I mean, the trailer was okay, but my issue with it is they're basically going to cherry pick Heir to the Empire, and give a lot of those roles that Luke and Mara Jade and a lot of the characters that people really love and are passionate for, and give those to other people, other Filoni created characters.
So you're like me. You don't. You're sad about Luke, but they're not going to give Luke any more stories. That's the sad truth. If they wanted to, they could have cast Stan and done it. You know, they're just not going to do it.
Well, like if you guys go back to the ending of Mando season 2, chapter 16, when Luke returned, after that, there was so much speculation and so much rumors and theories that they were going to be doing a Luke show, you know, basically building the Jedi Order, and Grogu was going to be a part of it and all that.
It was just to get the ratings.
Yeah, then Book of Boba Fett came along, and, you know, Grogu's back with Mando, and Luke hasn't been around since.
It's fascinating. People got so pumped for that one Luke scene kicking ass. You'd think they'd say, "Hey, yeah, right." Trust me, I was shocked.
I was upset that he didn't stay with Luke.
Yeah, I was too. Yeah, 100%.
Why not do a Luke show? What the hell is with these people? I mean,
it doesn't make any sense to me. I maybe the deep fake technology and stuff is just too expensive.
Well, Sebastian Stan was all ready for it. He got but they're so they don't learn they do not learn the right lessons. They think, oh, Solo failed. They don't put the blame on themselves for quality. They say people don't like recast, even though Ewan McGregor is a recast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't learn the right lessons. They're just like, oh, the fans are going to reject a recast. No, it just has to be done, executed well. That's it.
Yeah. I'd rather have a recast of Luke than a deep fake Luke. And I feel like Luke Skywalker is an iconic character enough that you can recast him like a James Bond or a Batman. Like they should have done that. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, depending on how good the quality of the deep fake is, I would agree with that. But that's the thing I'm looking forward to in the Indiana Jones movie, is how well the deep fake is in that. Like when I'm watching that, am I going to believe that's actually Harrison Ford, or is it going to be like, oh, this looks like shit, man, and the deep fake is terrible, and I can totally tell that it's CGI.
It's expensive though, right?
Yeah, very expensive for them to do all that. Mm-hmm. And to do a whole show around it. I mean, a couple scenes here and there, yeah. But
would you be upset with the recast of Luke?
Oh man, that's
hard. Scared of.
Yeah, I don't know, because I didn't like Solo, Harrison Ford. Like I thought Solo would have been better if they would have deep fake Harrison's face on him, because there's actually a YouTube video where somebody actually did that, and it actually looks really good. And I'm like, I think I could have really been pulled into the Solo movie a lot more if it would have been done that way.
So see, this is why they're scared though, right? Because they got people like you, then they got people like me who I don't like the deep fake stuff. Eventually, I'm going to notice it's a computer animation. It's going to look like a video game.
The more it's on screen, the more chance.
Right. I'd rather a recast, but then you see, this is the thing, and this is a fair point. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with what you're saying, Nick. You don't want to recast. You're scared, or you're scared they're going to just mess it up or something like that. I'd rather them recast the character and write him well, but
I'd almost have to see it like if they would put out like a sizzle reel, with him, doing a scene or something, and put that out and just let fans react to it and engage where the fans are at. And then if it's overwhelmingly positive and good, then you move with the recast. Because I could see like a sizzle reel of a scene with him in it playing Luke and be like, okay, he actually did really well. I actually am buying that. I think this could work, and I would be okay with it. But it's hard to answer without me having not seen anything.
Okay. So like, what if they got, what's his name for example, just as an example, like what if they got the guy from forget about Sebastian Stan. What if they got the guy from Game of Thrones who played, what's her name's brother, the guy who lost his hand, that actor, to play an older Luke Skywalker? Would that have bothered you? He's a good actor.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. I would just have to see it. I would have to see it and see. I have to see the actor's performance, the way they talk, the way they handle themselves on screen, to see if while I'm watching it, I believe that's old Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
If they can make it work to make me to where I'm like, okay, I buy into that, then I would be fine with anybody else playing an older or younger version of whoever, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's Jamie Lannister. That guy, I think he would have been fine. They could have recast.
Oh yeah, Jamie Lannister.
He would have been
I
just
can't remember
fine.
the actor's name.
A more mature Luke Skywalker carrying on the Academy. It would have been just fine, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Nick. I've got towards the end of the show, and I wanted to show some of these clips I have on Twitter. This
yeah,
is
I'm gonna let you guys do that. I'm gonna bounce because I got some work I got to finish up, and then I'm gonna hit the sack. But
he's been live streaming like crazy and making vids, and my god,
I was late to Doomcock stream tonight because